Hello everyone. In this video lecture, we are going to concentrate some of the topics of Module 4 of Microcontroller and Embedded System subject with the subject code 18CS44. Now, previous video lecture also we discussed about Module 4. This class is also continuation of that previous class. In previous class, we considered some of the topics like characteristic and quality attributes, and operational and non-operational quality attributes we seen in the previous video lecture with some product life cycle also. Now in this video lecture we are going to concentrate about another some topics in this module itself. Your embedded system application and domain specific concept we are going to concentrate in today's class. For more information and detailed information, you can refer Introduction to Embedded Systems textbook, which is written by Shibu KV. Now, embedded system application and domain specific. Application and domain specific, this is one of the characteristic of your embedded system. We seen that in previous video lecture. Embedded system are application and domain specific, means you are going to use that for particular application, and we can't just shift that device to another device, like micro oven components or devices we can't use as AC, air conditioner, or air conditioner devices we can't use it as ATM device. So this we can't replace that, right? So this is called domain specific, and particular application itself we are going to use that embedded system. Particular application means we can't use your AC as a ATM, or we can't use ATM as a micro oven. So we can't do that. So this is your embedded system are application and domain specific, meaning they are specifically built for certain application. That means particular application is there for that in certain domain, like consumer electronics, telecom, automotive, industry, like this. The domain we seen in the module 3, different domains, different application areas, like banking sector we are using ATM, like card reader, like that. And in medical application, that is on a domain that there we are going to use some ECG machines for monitoring purpose, like that. So some home automation we are concentrating on your AC, and we can go for micro oven or any washing machine also. Here thing is, in general purpose computing, it is possible to replace a system with another system which is closely matching with the existing system, whereas it is not in the case of embedded system. Hence it is not possible to replace an embedded system developed for a specific application. So this is a very important line, and you can call it as this is a definition of embedded system also. In the general purpose computing system, that means embedded system is one item. So another thing is general purpose. Name itself tells that general purpose we can use for any purpose, that the device or the system you can use for any purpose. That means we can it is possible to replace a system with another system. So if your laptop, you can consider general system. So if laptop is not proper, you can work with another desktop. Your desktop is not proper, you can take another laptop and you can work there. If laptop also not proper, you can take tab and you can work there. So that is also one of the general purpose computing system. But in the case of particular embedded system, we can't do that. That is AC. If your AC is not proper, we can't consider your micro oven as a AC, and your ATM is not working properly, means then we can't take your ECG machine as a AC, sorry, your ATM. All right. So that is a particular application only we can use that device. So that is called embedded system. That is a specific application and domain specific. We have one example here, that is a washing machine given here. So you may get question this one in exam to explain this operation of washing machine and some of the components present in washing machine. So in detail you have to explain that. So working nature of the washing machine already you know that, so I'm not going to include in this video lecture working operation of your washing machine. So just here we have washing machine here, just diagram they given here, and inside that we have this picture. What are the different embedded device we are going to use in that? So here integrated control panel with the user interface is there. So user interface means you can see this, in this we have this setup, you can see inside the above this, that means above your washing machine we have some buttons, right? Like that we have LED display there. So this one we have above this, okay, integrated control panel actually with the user interface. User interface means this one, user going to give some commands here, heavy, light, medium, wash, then what is the minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, 2 hour, if you want to start, if you want to stop, all thing is there in your user interface. Like sometimes you have LED display also, so in terms of numbers or your some switches, switch on, switch off, or time counter is there. So that are things we can call it as user interface. Then we have level sensor, which sense your level of water, okay, level sensor is there. Then water inlet pipe is here in order to introduce your water inside this washing machine. And your temperature sensor also there, your temperature is above that limit or below that limit, everything will sensed by this temperature sensor. Then we have body case, that you know, body case. Then water outlet, so water we can send outside through this pipe. And outlet tub, tub is sorry, outer tub and inner tub, two things. In washing machine, if you're using washing machine, you know this operation of the washing machine, just you have to mention that washing machine operation here. This is another type of embedded system, one of the, because you know why we are using washing machine, that used for only washing your clothes. You can't use as a micro oven, you can't use as a ATM, you can't use as a AC also. So these are the things we related to application specific embedded system, one of the example. And another example they given you, automotive domain specific example for embedded system. Automotive means you know, automobile area, we have cars, bike, these are the example of automotive embedded systems. The presence of automotive embedded system in a vehicle varies from simple mirror and wiper control to complex airbag controller and anti-lock braking system, ABS. Short form of your anti-lock braking system is ABS. You know generally where we are going to use ABS. ABS is a braking system in your car. So nowadays many of the car they are using ABS system for braking purpose. Then automotive embedded system, this is not automatic, okay. Automotive embedded system are normally built around microcontroller or DSP or hybrid of two. So here thing given is the presence of automotive embedded system in a vehicle varies from simple mirror, wiper control. So these are the things we are going to use embedded system there. Simple mirror also we are going to use our embedded device. It is automatically, mirror is on, mirror is just come on or off, okay. And wiper control, in order to control your wiper of the vehicle, we are using embedded system. And main thing is airbag controller also your embedded system. So there we are going to use one sensor that sensor will send some other thing. That means if there is an accident that is sensed by your sensor, suddenly that sensor will send command to airbag controller. So airbag controller is suddenly given signal to airbag to open that. So here you know what is the meaning of response, responsive and real time. This is your responsive and real time, because if there is an accident, suddenly your sensor should respond for that in that particular time, real time. Again, immediately that sensor should send that signal to controller. Controller should respond for that. There also we have responsive. Okay, respond controller job is to respond for that immediately, and controller job is to send signal to airbag. Airbag should suddenly open, so then only we can save our person or user life. So here we have the meaning of responsive and real time operation of embedded device. The anti-lock braking system, there also we have meaning of responsive and real time. So here anti-lock, if you press your brake system in your car, suddenly it should respond and it should stop, right? So if there is any problem with the ABS, so when you are pressing your brake system in your car, so that won't stop, means that may be lead to your user life or other human life in danger, or there is a chance of damage for the vehicle also. So response is very important in the embedded system. So second line is automotive embedded system are normally built around microcontroller or DSP. So here they using microcontroller, or there is a chance of using DSP. DSP means digital signal processing application. We are using the DSP, and there is a chance of using microcontroller also. So these are the types of your general purpose system, either microprocessor, microcontroller, DSP. These are the things general purpose system. And hybrid means it is a combination of some of the things we are going to take from microcontroller, and some of the things we are going to take from DSP, digital signal processor, and there is a formation of separate system generally known as electronic control units. Okay, so these are the things we are going to use in our embedded system, a microcontroller, microprocessor, or there is a chance of DSP or combination of everything. So these are the things we can call it as electronic control unit, short form is ECU. The various types of electronic control unit, that is a short form is ECU, used in the automotive embedded industry can be broadly classified into two. So your ECU is classified, that is electronic control units are classified into two main parts. One is a high speed and low speed. High speed embedded control unit and low speed embedded control units. So we have to see both high speed and low speed here. So what do you mean by high speed electronic control unit? Your high speed means high speed electronic control unit are deployed in critical control units. This is very important this line, critical control unit, requiring fast response. Where we need fast response, that is called critical control units. In your any embedded system or devices, wherever we need fast response, that system is called critical control unit. Where we don't need any fast response, that is not critical. So here this high speed electronic control unit are used in critical control unit, and they include, means some of the example for critical control unit, we can call it as one fuel injection system. In your car, mainly here in these slides we are concentrating on automotive things, that means automobile areas. So just think only related to that. So injection system, So fuel injection system, we are going to use this high speed electronic control units, and some anti-lock, that is ABS also we are using that, because we need very high response in the case of this. One is fuel injection, one is anti-lock brake, then engine part also very important, there also we need fast response, so that we are going to use high speed. Then electronic throttle, then steering control also very important in the case of automobiles, then transmission control, and central control unit. These are the some of the examples parts in your automobile this area, wherever we are going to use high speed electronic control unit. Then where we are using low speed electronic control units. So here exactly reverse for high speed. Here we are using in critical, but here non-critical, that is it. Then we are using here fast, wherever we have fast response, wherever we need fast response, there we are using this. But low means we don't need that much fast response. We need response, but we don't need that much speed. So there we are going to use a low speed electronic control unit. Low speed electronic control unit are deployed in application where response time is not so critical. Okay. Some of the examples are given here: audio controller, passenger and driver door lock, and door glass control, that called a power window, and wiper control are example of low speed electronic control unit. Again I am telling, these are the things related to only your automobile area. So that's why they give an audio controller, means in your car you have audio. There we have, if there is any 1 or 2 minute or 1 or 2 seconds gap is there, or that audio is stopped, means that won't change your any environment of your car. And passenger and driver door lock, if that door is open 2 minutes late or 3 seconds late, that won't happen any loss of anything, either human loss or anything. So but in this case high speed, that 2 seconds also important. If that 2 seconds late, then there is a chance of human loss itself, or there is a chance of damage, but here that won't happen. So you can see power window also. Power window, because low, why we are using low speed means a response is required, but that much speed is not required, because for everything we can't put high speed electronic control unit, so that cost is high. That's why we can't put everywhere, we can't put this high speed electronic control units. That's why some of the automobile area we have to put this one low speed also. So these are the things we are using a low speed electronic control units. Like wiper also we are using low speed. And automotive communication buses. So what are the different buses we are using for communication? We will see that automotive application make use of serial bus for communication, which greatly reduce the amount of wiring. Why we are using serial bus means, this is the reason: greatly reduce the amount of wiring required inside the vehicle. We are using serial bus is a set of lines that used for communication purpose, here required inside the vehicle. That means which reduces the amount of wiring. In order to reduce wiring, we can go for serial bus. Parallel bus, if you are going for, means there is a chance of a lot of wires, so serial bus is better compared to this. Serial bus is better compared to parallel bus. Okay, the following are the different types of serial interface bus deployed in the automotive embedded application. What are the different types of buses we can use in our automotive embedded application? Automotive means automobile area. One is CAN, one is LIN, one is MOST. So this is just a short forms, CAN, LIN, and MOST. So this short form is easy to remember, this buses. Now we will see that a long term of this and related information about CAN, LIN, and MOST. So CAN, CAN, that is a controller area network. It is generally employed in the safety system like airbag control, power train system like engine control and ABS system, and navigation system like GPS. Navigation system means just navigate for navigation for the user like GPS. Then power train system like engine control and ABS braking system. Then we have airbag control. Everything is very important part in your automobile area. So safety system we are using mainly for safety system. For safety system, whatever the connection is there, that all connections through control area network. Okay, bus we are using is this one. Then we will go for another one, LIN. LIN means a local interconnect network. So local interconnect network is a speed is somewhat low, that bus speed is low. Wherever we are using somewhat less response time is very important, means use this CAN. Then other thing we can use LIN. So LIN bus is employed in the application like mirror control, fan control, seat positioning control, window control, and position control, where response time is not critical. So here response time is very critical, there we have to use this CAN. Then LIN we can't, wherever we have less critical time or response time is not that much important, there we can use LIN. Okay, but everywhere we need response, but in terms of time gap, here we need immediate response. Here 2-3 seconds late also it is okay. Okay, and media oriented system transport, most media oriented system transport. So what are the media thing in your car or bike? Media things, audio video, right? So that is coming under media. So bus, the media oriented system, is targeted for automotive audio video equipment interfacing. So mainly it is target for audio bar video in your car. So any audio systems are there or video systems are there, there we are using this one, bus, most bus. Okay, so now some of the things, some of the key players of the automotive embedded market. So key players, what do you mean by key player? So here key player of automotive embedded market can be visualized in three vertical, namely one is a silicon provider, one is solution provider, one is tool and platform provider. So these are the providers. Actually key player means in the automotive embedded market, we are using some of the embedded systems. What are the embedded system you are using, and who is a provider for that? Provider means who will supply that, who is a manufacturer, that part we are going to see here. Who will supply provider, who will supply chip for the solution, that is a solution provider, and tool and platform providers. So we will see that one by one. First one we will go for silicon provider. What do you mean by silicon provider? Silicon providers means he is a manufacturer, okay, who manufacturer which provides he is responsible for providing the necessary chips which are used in the control application development. The chips used for control application in your car, which are the chips used for control application and development, there we are going to take help from silicon providers. So they will provide some of the chip related to control applications. So who are the providers? We will see that. One is analog device. First provider for that is a silicon provider is a analog device. So what he provides? Provide of world class digital signal processing chip, DSP chip, precision analog microcontroller, programmable inclinometer, that is a accelerometer, LED drivers, etc. All for automotive signal processing applications. Driver assistance system, audio system, GPS for navigation system. Everywhere we are using these analog devices. Analog device is actually a silicon provider. Here is a manufacturer. Okay. Second manufacturer is Xilinx. So I think you heard about this Xilinx word. Sorry, Xilinx. So supplier of high performance FPGA. FPGA full form, I think you know about that, field programmable gate array and complex programmable logic device, CPLD. And automotive specific IP core for the GPS navigation system. For mainly GPS navigation system, we are using this, and driver information system, distance control, collision avoidance, rear seat entertainment, adaptive cruise control, voice receptionist, like this. So mainly for these are the purpose we are going to use some of the chips. That chip will provided by this one. Okay. Now Atmel is another actually company name. Company name is Atmel. They will supply cost effective high density flash controller and memories. Atmel provide a series of high performance microcontroller, namely ARM1, ARM2, 8051, like this. A wide range of application specific standard product for chassis, body, electronics, security, safety, and car infotainment, and automotive networking products for CAN. CAN means we seen in the previous slide, control area network, and LIN flex array, and are supplied by Atmel. Okay, related to this, what are the things? Body, electronics, safety. These are the things supplied by, that is the chip we required for these are the things. So that chip is supplied by this one. Then we are moving into another one, NXP. So NXP supplies flash microcontrollers, 8-bit or 16-bit or 32-bit. Bit may be changed, but flash microcontroller is supplied by NXP. Then we have Texas Instruments. This is one of the famous company. Texas Instruments supplies which microcontroller, digital signal processor, and automotive communication control chips for local internet interconnect bus product. Okay, that is a LIN. Texas Instruments. So these are the silicon provider names. So like that we will see second key player, that is a tool and platform provider. Tool and platform provider are manufacturer and suppliers of various kinds of development tool. So what are the development tool we are using in our automotive area? So there we are using this, and also real-time embedded operating system for developing and debugging different control unit related applications. Tool fall into two categories, namely embedded software application and development tool, and embedded hardware development tool. Sorry, I will read that. Embedded software application development tool and embedded hardware development tool. So software and hardware, we are dividing this tool and platform provider in two categories. One is a software tools and hardware tools. So like that we are dividing into two. So some of the example here given, MathWork and Keil software and Microsoft software. So these are the things coming under this tool and platform provider. So they will provide. So actually Keil software and MathWork software and Microsoft, they are the tool for the purpose of various kinds of development tools. These are the various kinds of development tool for the manufacturer. Manufacturer require that tools for the design purpose or some developing new things for that automotive industries. So these are the tools supplied by the companies. Okay, so this is about second key player of automotive area. Then we will go for third one, that is a solution provider. Solution provider, another one, that is a solution provider supplies a complete solution for the automotive application, making use of the chips, platform, and different development tool. So development tool we seen in the previous, that is a MathWork and remaining thing. Then making use of all types of chips. Chips are supplied by, we seen the previous also, that is here we have in the previous here, silicon providers, they will provide different types of chips for development purpose, and tools and platform, they will provide some of the tool for development, that is a development tool. And here solution provider will take help of these chips, that is application making use of these chips, platform, and different development tool. So by using these chips and developing tool, so there is a complete solution we required, right? So which are the providers? They provide solution provider, or supply complete solution for the automotive applications. Mainly why we are using solution provider means, you can read this, you can tell this. So mainly complete solution for automotive application is given by some of the providers, that is a solution provider. So these are the some of the provider or manufacturer name. One is a Bosch, one is a Denso, Infosys, and Delphi. So I think you heard about this name. Many names are there in your automobile industry also. There we have particular symbol in your car or any bike, Bosch, Denso, and Infosys, Delphi. These are the provider which supplies some solutions. So what are the solutions supplied by the Bosch? We will see that body electronics related solutions, they are supplied by Bosch, and diesel engine control related solutions, they supplied by Bosch, and gasoline engine control, and powertrain system, and safety system, in-car navigation system, and infotainment system. So these are the things related to Bosch. Okay, then we are going for Denso. They will provide something for solution, as a solution for automotive applications. What are the things provided by Denso? Engine management, climate control, body electronics, driving control, safety, hybrid vehicle, embedded infotainment, communication purpose. So some of the things are shared. See here we have body electronics. Body electronics is related things supplied by Denso also, that is supplied by Bosch also, and that is supplied by other, that is like Delphi also. But user job is to choose which one is the best, and they can use that. Here they will produce, but user should think that which one is the best for that particular automobile device. Okay, then Infosys Technology, they will provide a solution provider for automotive embedded hardware and software. And Delphi is another company, and Delphi is a complete solution provider for engine control. Mainly they go concentrating on engine control, safety, infotainment, etc. And they supplies this one also, bearings and spark plugs. Okay, Delphi. So these are the things related to key players of automotive this industries. Okay, solution provider and silicon provider, and tool and platform provider. These are the things we seen here. So now we will move into another one, hardware software co-design and program modeling. So what do you mean by hardware software co-design? So here hardware also we need for that particular device, software also we need for that particular device. But is that software and hardware is working separately? Let us see that. In the traditional embedded system traditional development system development approach, the hardware software partitioning is done. So read that carefully. Hardware software partitioning is done at an early stage, and engineers from the software groups take care about software architecture development and implementation, whereas engineer from the hardware group responsible for building the hardware required for the product. So initially completely we have to divide that. What is that? One is a hardware is separate, one is software separate. What is this software group take care about software architecture development and implementation. They were concentrating only about that. Whereas hardware group, they have to they are responsible for building the hardware required for the product. So here completely both are different. Partitioning is there. Hardware is separate, software is separate. They are working different. There are two groups. There is a less interaction between two teams because they are working together, not together. They are different, right? Software team is different, hardware team is different, and the development happens either serially or in parallelly. Maybe there is no connection, so they don't know what software team doing, or software team don't know what hardware team doing. So like this, once the hardware and software are ready, the integration is performed. That means one combination, that means that hardware is prepared by one team, software is prepared by one team, so there is a requirement of combine of both software and hardware in order to get our embedded system. The increasing competition in the commercial market and need for the reduced time to market, the product calls for novel approach for the embedded system design, in which the hardware and software are co-developed instead of independently developing both. So why we need co-design or co-model program modeling means this is your reason. So there is a competition in this stage. So lot of because of lot of competition. So now you going to produce that method. There is a hardware separate, software separate. So after completing their software and hardware, they are going to combine each other. That device is combined, then there is a embedded device. Now consider that will take some time, right? Because in order to combine this hardware and software, we need lot of time. So if there is any problem, again software and hardware team should work on that. So better thing is here co-design. Co-design means both hardware and software are co-developed. Co-development is together both hardware and software team working together in order to build one embedded device, instead of independently developing both. That means instead of develop separate team, we have one single team. In that team both hardware developers are there, software developers are there. They are going to build one device, embedded device. So that will reduce your time. They are going to discuss each other, and they are going to discuss many other things also. By that time to market, time to get that device into market is less. So very fast that device will come to market. By that that particular manufacturer also compete with other company. So this is one of the main thing required, co-design in the embedded systems. Now during the co-design process, the product requirement captured from the customer are converted into system level need or processing requirements. At this point of time, it is not segregated as a either hardware requirement or a software requirement. Instead of it is specified as a functional requirement. During co-design process, only one thing is there. So there is hardware requirement, software requirement is not there. So they are going to come work together, right? So there is only one requirement, functional requirement. What are the requirement for that embedded device? Only that thing they have to concentrate. The system level processing requirement are then transferred into functions which can be simulated, verified against performance and functionality. So once that functional requirement is over, then mainly performance we have to see, verify that performance and functionalities. So main thing there are some of the steps related to this. The architecture design follow the system design. The architecture design follow the system design. So this is the main important point. So let us see some of the fundamental issues in the hardware software co-design. So what are the things we are going to see when both are combining, hardware and software team combine together and doing some work? There are some of the issues are there. One is first thing is selecting a model. That is a first point we have to consider in the fundamental issues. Selecting model. So what it contains? Model is a formal system consisting of objects and composition rules. So selecting a model contains some set of objectives. Okay, there are set of objectives and set of rules. By using this, they're going to create one particular model for that embedded system. So now they started their idea. So idea contain objectives and some of the rules. So by that, once that model formed, so that means once that model is created, so then we can go for next stage. Till that model should be proper. So in order to get that, so that objective should be that means they have to create some objectives, set of objectives, set of rules. Then they will go for second stage, that is selecting the architecture. Selecting the architecture means here they are going to architecture specifies how a system is going to implement in terms of the number and types of different components and the interconnection among them. So this is the meaning of selecting the architecture. The architecture specifies how a system is going to implement. So this just we have now objectives and some of the rules. While coming to selecting the architecture, in our hand we have only two things: what are the objectives, what are the rules. So by that, next we have to produce architecture. Architecture means how the system is going to implement in terms of number and types of different component and interconnection among them. So how to what are the components required, how many number of components are required, and how to connect each other. That all planning is there, right? That coming to architecture. So architecture is also very important. Objective and composition rules. After that we have architecture. So some of the things we have inside the architecture part. So one is the controller architecture and data path architecture, finite state machine data path, complex instruction set computing, reduced instruction set computing, and parallel processing architecture. So what is this controller architecture? It is actually state register holds the present state and the combination circuit implement the logic for the next state and output. So here mainly controller architecture will develop your control input. That is actually final thing we have in the control architecture. Control architecture will produce one control input for that embedded device. So state register holds the present state and the combinational circuit implement the logic for the next state and the output. So mainly control input we required, that is developed by controller architecture. Then we have data path architecture. What is the data path? So there is some operation on the data, so that we will see in here. Output is generated. You can see this output is generated as a result of set of predefined computation. So there is a set of predefined computation or some formulas, okay, on the input data. On that particular input data, they have to perform a set of operations. By that they are going to get output is generated. That means they will get some particular result. So performing some operation on that data and getting some result, that is your second architecture we are using here. This is also very much required. So what are the inputs are there and what is the output we are going to get by that input. So that checking method is required in this architecture part. So by that we can avoid a lot of errors. So initially you know what are the output you are getting. So by that we are going to reduce a lot of errors. Then the third one is a finite state machine data path. So here we seen previously controller architecture and we seen data path architecture. We are going to combine this. Here controller architecture, it produces control input, right? Then data path architecture performing operation on the data. So like that we are going to combine these two, then we are going to get finite state machine data path. So here combines the controller architecture with the data path architecture. So these two things we are going to combine each other. So we are getting better result in the finite state machine data path. And name itself finite state machine. So different states are there. There are finite amount of states are there. So So there is a we are going to perform some operation on that data and getting finite answer. Okay. Here some of the very important concepts in the finite state machine we will see in the coming slides. So complex instruction set computing, you know this general idea about complex instruction set computing. Here short form of this is CISC. Complex instructions are there and number of instructions are here in the CISC is less, but each instruction is some more complex. So we are using some set of instructions and number of instructions are less, but each instruction is variable size. Okay, that is a advantage. Each instruction size is variable, that is not fixed. That is an advantage in this case. Now while coming to another one, RISC. So short form is RISC, but long form is reduced instruction set computing. Name itself tells that reduced. It is not reduced in terms of number of instructions, it is reduced in terms of complexity. So all instructions whatever we have in RISC are very simple, and another one is each instruction is a fixed length. Length of each instructions are fixed, and we can perform pipeline operation in the RISC concept. Pipeline is the execution of next instruction in the present situation only. So there by that we can increase the speed of your processor or speed of your device. So pipeline that we can introduce in RISC, but here in the CISC concept we can't apply your pipeline. There we have to another concept that is called microcode. Microcode concept we have to introduce in this case, CISC. Now while coming to another one, parallel processing architecture. Parallel processing means we have two methods here, SIMD and MIMD. SIMD means single instruction multiple data. That is a full form of SIMD. MIMD means multiple instruction multiple data. So we have single instruction and multiple data. So one instruction is there, many data are there, we are going to perform that instruction on that particular data. So that is called single instruction multiple data. That concept also we are using in our design. And another thing we are using is multiple input multiple data, multiple instruction multiple data. Instructions are multiple, many instructions are there, a lot of data are there. So we are going to perform that lot of instruction on that lot of data. So parallel processing architecture, parallelly we are going to process by using these two methods, SIMD, MIMD. Then we have another one, actually this is these are the things we seen under selecting the architecture. And while coming to another one, that is selecting the language. After model we have to go for architecture, after architecture we have to go for selecting the language, which type of language we are going to use to build that architecture. Anyway you are going to produce architecture in above. Model is created by using model, then we are coming to architecture. Architecture is built by using some language. Which language we are using, that language is consideration is very important. So either C or C++, Java or different language we have, and some of the software providers they will give some language. So VLSI, there we are going to use some Verilog and VHDL language in Xilinx software. Then Keil is also there, and there is another platform. There also we are going to see embedded C or some assembly level language also we are going to use to build that architecture. Like that Java also another platform, there also we can build your architecture. So these are the different language we are going to use to create your architecture or to generate your plan. Okay. Next we are going for last one, that is a partitioning system requirement into hardware and software. So after if your language is perfect, you selected language, then you design that entire thing, means we have to divide. So partitioning a system requirement into hardware and software. So what you need requirements. So some of the requirements are hardware requirements, some of the requirements are software requirements. So you have to judge which one. So which one is a software requirements, which one is a hardware requirements, that we have to uh, make some decision. So that is very difficult. So that decision part is very important. So which one is software part and which one is a hardware part. So once you design that, so the design software and hardware division is decision making is so very important is there. So these are the some of the fundamental issues in hardware software co-design. So remaining thing we will see in the next class. Thank you.